There is a reason why I'm wearing this number 3 road jersey right here. There's a reason. It's because the last time the New York Knicks won in Denver before last night was 16 years ago, back in 2006, when this man right here was their starting point guard. That's crazy to me. It's been 16 years. Carmelo wasn't even a Knick yet. In fact, he was barely a Nugget. He was barely in the league at the time. But they did it last night. The Knicks finally did it last night. They completed or they snapped the curse, and they picked up a win in Denver. They completed the dreaded Utah-Denver back-to-back, which some say is the hardest back-to-back in the league with the altitude and everything. So, and yeah, I know that Jokic and Aaron Gordon were out last night, but the Knicks are executing right now, and they just picked up what you would call 2 character wins the last couple nights. So, let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. Welcome to BD4, an RJ Carbone podcast. BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. BD4 is a 5-star show on Apple Podcasts, also available in video format on YouTube and Spotify. So thanks for stopping by, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Champion of the world, turning, looking, see ya!
Anthony for 3, bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied! Time!
Penetrates, creates, and showing some dexterity as well with the left hand.
Yankees win!
What's going on, everybody? What is happening? Welcome back to the podcast. Episode 436 of the podcast. Welcome to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. 2 episodes ago, we actually recapped UFC 281, so if you want to go check out that episode, I believe it was 434. But welcome to 436. You know where to find me and all that stuff. Let's talk Knicks, man, because last night was fun. I'm up there in the living room screaming past midnight. I still live at home, so, I got people sleeping and I'm screaming with my fucking high-pitched voice, and I'm excited, man. They did it last night. Let's do some more team dinners next time things go awry. That seems to be like it's the solution here. But tight game last night. Very intense, very close, but the team came together and they won as a unit. Again, as I said at the top, a character win. A whole lot of contributions from many guys. Randle obviously led the way all night. We'll discuss him. We'll talk about Brunson. Gave you some more crunch time execution. Cam Reddish in double figures again, which we'll talk about. Playing more of that good wing defense. D-Rose chipped in to lead the bench in scoring. You had Quickley with tremendous two-way play once again. Defense on the final possession, which we'll get into. Obi Toppin, Jericho Sims, they were great off the bench. A lot of contributions in this one, man. But it was just so good to see the Knicks pull away and take the victory. This one was close. I didn't think they were going to do it. They ended up doing it. The first half, you really only had Julius Randle, who was the one, Nick, that was consistently on point. But at the end of the half, guys started chiming in. Brunson was doing some great facilitating. Randle caught fire. RJ, as bad as he was, and again, we'll get to him, he found a bit of a rhythm getting to the rim and the free throw line late second quarter. Cam Reddish was getting to the line. So the Knicks go into the break up a point, 55-54. Now, the second half, it was a very back-and-forth third quarter for a bit. The Knicks put together a solid third quarter, but the signs were there that Denver was going to heat up at some point because you had Randle misfiring from everywhere. RJ was missing his three-point looks. Denver at one point started zoning, and of course the Knicks couldn't bust it because when do they ever bust a zone? It's just tradition at this point. But the bench unit wasn't really doing much either, and not a lot of them were in. But I think the one moment that I honestly thought was the nail in the coffin for the Knicks was that sequence from the end of the third quarter to the start of the fourth. You had Quickley first get a shot clock violation for being dumb, pulling a J.R. Smith and just losing track of time, dribbling the entire possession with the ball, getting the violation. Then you had Bones Highland with seconds left absolutely can that last second heave where RJ, I thought he could have been in his grill a little more. And then to begin the fourth quarter, you had Quickley foul Bones Highland, the kid's good, on a 3-point shot, and it ends up being a 4-point play, which was converted. And from there, Denver remained pretty hot for a few minutes, and all of a sudden, that small 1-point deficit before that shot clock violation at the end of the third turned into a 10-point deficit middle of the fourth quarter. But adjustments were made because not 20 seconds later, midway through the fourth, a little more, like 7 or so minutes, Tom Thibodeau adjusts, uses the whistle to make his substitutions, realizes Denver is without Jokic and without Gordon up front. He saw that RJ Barrett looked brutal out there, and he went with the small ball lineup once again. It was Brunson, Quickley, Cam, Obi, and Randle. They started playing much quicker. They had a little bit more spacing out there, and they ended up finishing the game on a remarkable 20-7 run. So the Knicks would win 106-103 in Denver last night for the first time since Stephon freaking Starbury. A lot of key plays in that fourth quarter. There are a lot of things you could point to. You had Randle making some key defensive plays. He gets the steal from Najee with about 7:30 left. The Knicks were down 10 points. Gets a big steal. The game was about to get out of hand. That was one of those possessions that we always talk about where the Knicks usually never stop the bleeding. Lately, they've been doing that. Then Randle gets a steal and slam when he intercepted Jamal Murray's pass with about less than 4 minutes to go. That pulls the Knicks within 3 points at the time. And then you had the play of the damn season where I don't know if it was Randle or Brunson who poked it away from Jeff Green, but the ball gets loose. Then you've got Julius diving on the floor for the damn thing at half court. And by the time he comes up with it, Brunson's running the break. So Randle throws it from his ass to Brunson in the open court. Brunson throws down a dunk, and the Knicks won up 3 points after that. That was with like 2.5 or something left. And that right there was it. Those are the kind of plays that you want, and those are the kind of plays that you need to see from this Knicks team more often. Hustle, heart, effort. Like when you lack the major talent, like you're a Knicks team with decent but not great talent, you need to sometimes win games based off your energy. And that is what won them that game on that single play. The Knicks don't have that ability to where they can just flip a switch and go into cruise control, and whenever they feel like stepping up, they can. Right? They got to bust ass, and they got to make winning plays in order to win these games against the tougher teams. And that they did last night. And I don't know what's more rare, Julius diving on the floor or Brunson throwing down a dunk, but both of them happened at the same time. So You might see a full moon tomorrow night. And then the final play of the game. Talk about defense. Well, you had Quickley just D'ing up Jamal Murray on that three-pointer, forcing the air ball, and the Knicks win. I mean, go back and watch that tape, man. Watch that play, because that was some unbelievable D. Because in the past, the Knicks definitely lose this game. Murray makes that shot 10 times out of 10. But that defense by Quickley there, wow. I want to go over Julius Randle, though. I want to start with him, and he's going to win a Bing Bong game ball among the starters.
Bing bang.
How could you not give it to Julius? Last night he was incredible. 34 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, shot 11 for 21, 3 of 10 from 3, and 9 of 13 at the free throw line. You know, Randle's no stranger, obviously, to putting up good-looking stat lines. We know he can do that. He does that consistently. He's a 20-10-4 guy. But the difference last night was that it was a winning stat line. We always talk about how he rarely puts together anything that resembles a complete game. It's always something that really hampers his contributions. It's always, but the defense, or the turnovers, or the missed shots, or too much iso ball down the stretch. But not really last night. He was efficient, and he played a complete game. He shot 52%. The turnovers weren't a big problem, and he played his absolute heart out in the fourth quarter. Heart, hustle, and energy. Just, of his 4 steals, 3 of those steals came in the fourth quarter for Julius. So it just leaves you hoping. Like, if we could just get this type of effort from Randle more often, more consistently, then I am fine with him sticking around. But the thing is, I'm not so sure we do get these efforts more often. It never usually lasts. But last night, it was working. So I give credit when credit is due. Bing Bong, Julius Randle was great. If there's one nitpick, I didn't love his third quarter. He got a little heat checky, kind of led to some of that Denver momentum. But at the end of the day, who cares? Big time performance by Randle down the stretch. Great defense to win in this game. Not so great was RJ Barrett. 11 points, 4 for 18. 0 for 9 from 3. It was a minus 18 in the box score. Just absolutely brutal lately, and somehow even more horrendous last night. I thought he should have been sitting earlier. In last night's game, I thought he should have came out earlier than he did. 31 minutes of hurt the team pretty bad. I know he's sick. You can see it. Just no energy out there, no legs. There's no lift. The defense is horrendous right now. I mean, Jamal Murray was torching him. And I respect his durability to try and play through it. He's a guy who rarely misses time. But at some point, you got to realize you're hurting the team. While he is out there, though, if he continues to play through this, we got to try changing it up with him. He can't be taking 18 shots if he's off. While he's out there, no more standing on the wings, off the ball, waiting for spot ups or those handoffs in the middle of the lane or just running the break. Or, how about we get him going in some half-court cuts, coming off curls like we do Cam. Cam's first bucket of the night came off a curl. Get RJ going downhill in the half court. Get him slashing. Set him up for easier looks, because right now what he's doing, not working. He's being way too selfish with the ball, and he's either just chucking a 3 or he's driving right into a missed layup or a block and praying for some free throws. That's not going to work. It was definitely no coincidence that last night, as soon as he left the floor in the fourth quarter, the Knicks picked it up. So it was a terrible, terrible performance from RJ Barrett last night. You hope that he can bounce back in Golden State, and you hope that today he takes the day to heal up, and hopefully he's not sick. Back to the good. Jalen Brunson, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 turnover, 7 for 13 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3, and he was 5 for 5 at the free throw line. He was also key down the stretch along with Randle. They both had 8 points in the fourth quarter. Obviously, we talked about the dunk from Brunson, but he also had that left-handed bunny a little earlier, about midway through the fourth, to pull the Knicks closer. And he knocked down all 4 of his free throws in the period as well. He was 5 for 5 on the night. 4 of them came in the fourth. So Brunson was great. He continues to be efficient. Another game you can add to his game log where he shot 50% and had 2 or less turnovers. Very impressive stat. Derrick Rose, he seemed to have found it lately. His last 3 games, I'll read them all for you right here. 7 points, 3 for 6, 4 assists in 17 minutes. That was against OKC. 6 points, 3 of 6, 3 assists in 14 minutes. That was against Utah. And then last night, 13 points, 5 for 10, 2 of 3 from 3, 3 assists, a block, 17 minutes. So he's shooting it very efficiently. He's playmaking very well. And I'm fine with his role. You know, if he can be the guy he's been lately, that microwave guy for the Knicks, he just comes in, scores some points, maybe run the break, run the offense for a few minutes to complement Quickley and the guys, that I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it. And last night he was getting some minutes in each quarter, and he spreaded his scoring out throughout the game. It was a good, even performance from D Rose. I'm glad he looks better lately. Ever since he, called out Thibs in his press conference, he's been playing better, and he's been getting a little more minutes. Jericho Sims. Again with Sims. His defense was just super strong last night. Just another great, I don't want to label him an intangibles guy, but he does a lot of it. 6 boards, 2 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. And again, his paint presence. The Knicks, for a second straight night, outscore their opponent in the paint by at least 15 points. Last night it was 50-34 in the paint. And once again, that's thanks to Sims. With his presence as this uber athletic offensive rebounder, the penetrators on the Knicks have their confidence to attack the basket. And he's also just a great screener. He frees up so much space by his screening. We brought that up before, I know, but he is, man. I was listening to a podcast this morning. Someone brought up a comparison called Jericho Sims Ben Wallace. And I kind of like that comparison. I was thinking back. I made a comparison last season. I think I said he was like a younger Nerlens Noel. I think that's the comparison I made. But I like him a lot. This kid is playing some really strong ball right now. I just hope and I pray that when Mitch returns, whenever that may be, Sims doesn't get buried in the big man rotation again, because I have a feeling he will. Because you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and Thibs likes Hartenstein because of his big body, and he's a decent rebounder, I guess. The spacing he provides with that floater, whatever. I just have a bad feeling that when Mitch comes back, Sims is going to go back to being that reserve center. Obi Toppin, 7 points last night, 3 of 8, 1 of 5 from 3, 23 minutes. Not great overall, but still a point in this game. There was still a point where I thought he should have remained in there. Late first quarter, he knocks down an open 3 on the right wing. And then on the very next possession, he throws down a fast break dunk. He's pulled a few minutes into the second quarter and then doesn't see the floor again until 3 minutes into the third. And again, it's repetitive, but man, that shouldn't happen. Like, we could have really used him in that third quarter where we needed some offense. We could have used his scoring punch then. The Knicks only scored 25 points in the third. It's just repetitive. Thibs needs to be playing this kid 25, 30 minutes nightly. And, last night he got 23, okay. But it's when he gets the minutes too that count. So I was a little frustrated with that. I thought him and Quickley were good. Quickley also deserves some more playing time. Quickley, if we're going to bring him up, he also wins an award. He also wins a game ball.
Bing bang.
Bing bong ball goes to Quickley off the bench. 6 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, a turnover, plus 11 in the box, which was second on the team to Cam, and 28 minutes. Wally Zerbiak used a great word last night on the MSG telecast, how Quickley is always pursuing rebounds. I love that because I think that's a perfect way to describe how he just goes right after them. Every night he goes after rebounds so well at his size. I think pursuing rebounds is a perfect way to put it. But he's been playing some really, really good basketball, really good two-way game lately. He's been under control, very composed as a point guard lately. 5 assists or more in 2 of his last 3 games. I say keep playing him next to Rose, next to Brunson at all times. It works way better when he's got somebody out there with him. But yeah, that big time defensive possession on the final play of the game was just absolutely critical. Both he and Sims, both Quickley and Sims did fantastic jobs getting out and defending Jamal Murray there on the perimeter, defending the shot drive, sliding their feet, keeping him in front of them. So Quickley, solely for his defense alone, was good enough in my book to earn a game ball. Yeah, let's talk about Cam Reddish, man. Also was good. Another double-figure scoring effort last night for Cam. That's 3 in a row now. 10 points, 3 for 5 from the floor, 4 of 5 at the line. He's just doing such a great job of getting to the rim. I get more impressed each and every night at his ability to get to the basket in 2 steps, tops. That one possession last night from the baseline, actually it was all the way in the corner actually, where he got there so easily and finished through contact for the N1, was so impressive. He just goes so hard to the basket, yet it looks so effortless. And with his size and strides and length, defenders just bounce off him. But it's not only the long strides, it's he extends his arms so well in order to get the ball up there. That's why he's got such a good that's why he's such a valuable asset as a wing. It's a great skill that he has. And of course the defense. He continues to be the Knicks' best perimeter defender. And that's why he's on the floor this year as a starter. That's why he got 37 more minutes last night, because he's playing defense. But now the offense hopefully seems to be coming around. It looks like he's here to stay right now, and I'm very glad about that. He's also stepping up at the perfect time these last 3 games with, the Knicks' other wing, R.J. Barrett, struggling mightily. So it's a good time for Cam to get hot, which he has. Tom Thibodeau. Again, no major problems last night for me. Other than Obi with his playing time. I liked what I saw. He cut the rotation to 9 men again last night. Fournier picked up a DNP. Grimes, another DNP. Again, I think this guy's toast. I don't know what the deal is going to be, but it doesn't sound good. But he's using good, creative lineup combinations. Again, went back to the Obi-Randle duo more last night. He's got the offense looking a bit more modern this year. Something I feel like we don't talk about enough because we've had defensive struggles. But some numbers for you this year on the Knicks offense. Their points per game have jumped from 26th ranked to 12th this year. Their isolation frequency last year, 8th most. This year it's down to 11th. Here's one that really stands out to me, and it's not shocking because the eye test tells you so. Transition frequency, meaning the amount of times they run in transition this year. Last year it was 27th. This season it's 2nd. So they run that much more possessions in transition this year. That's it right there. The pace, the tempo. It has made the offense at least average, probably a little above average this season. And the points per game off transition, too, went from 24th last season to 5th so far this year. The assisting went from 30th, dead last, to 17th, more middle of the pack. So we're getting ball movement this year from the offense, a lot more. We're getting a lot more tempo. And they're even launching more threes. They're not falling, but, we're trying to modernize this offense and streamline things a bit more. And you got to credit Thibodeau for that. All in all, some positive takeaways right now. Besides the dog barking in the background, Thibs is finally showing some flexibility. Randle looks a lot better, both physically and mentally. Obviously, mentally, he really is in a good place. Brunson has been a great pickup so far as a player and a great teammate, which goes a long way. Guys like Quickley and Rose are starting to pick it up recently. So, listen, I'm rooting for this team to win. All right? Not tank. I'm not rooting for a tank. I'm rooting for them to win. They are playing exactly as I expected, people. I said around 500 with play-in potential. I said that in preseason a number of times. Well, they are currently 8-7, and I believe they're the number 8 seed at the moment. So, yes, we need a star. But I am not doing the tanking thing and thinking it's going to happen like that. Because there are two ways to acquire a superstar. You can do it through the draft, or you can do it through trades and through signings. The draft is a total crapshoot. It's hit or miss. It's a coin flip. But the latter part of what I just said, it means if you're trying to win and you're getting to the playoffs at least, or the play-in, whatever the hell you want to call it, it means you're building a culture. And if you build a culture, superstars have a more likely chance to want to come here and stay here. It is incredibly difficult to build, excuse me, it's incredibly difficult to build a winning culture if the dog keeps barking. Now, it's incredibly difficult to build a winning culture if your goal, I just spit, is losing. If your goal is losing games at an egregious rate, it's going to be hard to develop a winning culture. The idea that middle teams must tank is sick and toxic to me. It's hard enough for me to root for my team to lose every night. But if I'm rooting for my team to lose, that technically means that I'm rooting individually against these guys to suck too. That's what you're doing essentially. I'm not rooting for RJ Barrett to miss a game-tying shot in overtime at the buzzer because I want a chance at drafting Victor, whatever the fuck his name is. I'm not doing that. I'm not. So I say you stay the course, you accumulate assets, young prospects, draft picks, and you sign players entering their prime like Randle, like Jalen Brunson. This way that you can, you do that, you can build a credible team, a reputable team, so that star player wants to come via free agency, or that GM wants to make that trade with you because you've grown. Your young prospects look enticing, and your team is winning. That's the way to do it. I'm not saying the Knicks are in a great spot. I'm saying they're in an interesting spot. But they have to execute at the end of the day, and they're in this purgatory where we don't know where we're going. Anyways, the Knicks now 2-0 on this West Coast trip that we all thought would begin 0-2. But we do have Golden State up next, and I know they're playing poorly right now, but they are the defending champions. They do have Steph Curry, who just casually dropped 50 points last night in Phoenix. So is it going to be tough? Yes. But I'm sure as hell rooting for a win. Right? Now, that said, let's wrap this up by getting a break real quick, and then we'll come back, do our trivia. Stay with us. Hey guys, so if you are a listener of the podcast often and you want to know where to find me on social media, you can find me on Facebook at BD4. You can find me on Twitter at BD4Pod. And you can also find me on Instagram at RobJCarbone. BD4 is located on many different platforms. You can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, and if you do there, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and review. You can listen to it on Spotify, but you can also watch the podcast on both Spotify and YouTube. BD4 is available on many other platforms as well. All you got to do is search it up. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and much more. Welcome back to the show. We're actually going to go over last night's parlay. Forgot we had one. Let's get into it. RJ's parlay. Welcome to RJ's Parlay, where my degenerate self breaks down tonight's big parlay. If I miss, it's not surprising. If I hit, I'll probably lose it all tomorrow night. Because that's how this works. Welcome to RJ's Parlay. Last night we had a parlay on the Knicks game. We had Barrett going for 25 plus points, rebounds, and assists combined. Randle doing the same. And then we have the Knicks covering the plus 10.5 alternate spread. We were 2 out of 3. Obviously, RJ Barrett continued to struggle, so we couldn't reach that plateau. And we lose our plus 105 parlay. Oh well. Let's get into the question of the day, and we'll wrap it up with that. All right. So, for this episode 436, our NYY-NYK-MMA trivia question of the day is, we may have said this before too. I don't know if we've asked this. Hopefully not. Last season, Evan Fournier broke John Stark's franchise record for three-pointers made in a single season. Who is third on the list? All right, last season, Evan Fournier broke John Stark's franchise record for three-pointers made in a single season. Who is third on the list? So let me know the answer wherever you can reach me. If you get the answer correct, I'll give you a shout-out in the next episode. If you don't get it correct, but at least attempt to guess the answer, then I'll let you know what the answer is. I'll DM you in the next show. Guys, that's it. Yeah, I appreciate you tuning in. That's all we got from the podcast. The Knicks win. They're now 8-7. They will be traveling to Golden State to take on a Warriors team that's struggling, but still the Golden State Warriors. So I'm expecting a loss, but they say always go into something with low expectations this way. If they do well, it shocks you in a good way. All right? All right, thanks, guys. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next show. Later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.